The Rendlesham Forest Incident, otherwise known as the UK's Roswell Incident, is one of the biggest UFO incidents not only in the UK but arguably globally. Obviously, when you think about UFO incidents, you tend to go towards Roswell because that is the most spoken about. But in the UK, the Rendlesham incident is arguably one of the biggest. Now, if for some reason you haven't heard about this, or this is your first time hearing about it, let me provide a little bit of context to you before we get into the details of the latest updates, because this happened a long time ago, back in the 1980s. So we're about 40 years on. So, there's a few updates, which is quite a big deal. Now, the Rendlesham Forest UFO incident is often called Britain's Roswell, which occurred in December of 1980 near RAF Woodbridge and RAF Bentwaters, US Air Force bases in Suffolk, England, which is used by the US Air Force over several nights. Military personnel reported strange lights and a possible UFO in Rendlesham Forest. Now, here's the key events of what happened. So on December 26th of 1980 in the early morning, US Air Force security personnel, including John Burroughs and Jim Penniston, observed bright lights in the forest, thinking it might be a crashed aircraft. They investigated. Penniston later claimed that he saw a triangular craft with strange symbols, which he touched. His sketches of the object and symbols are widely discussed, and the team reported the light moved erratically and then disappeared. Then move on to the 27th through to the 28th of 1980, so a couple of days later. More sightings of lights were reported. Deputy Base Commander Lieutenant Colonel Charles Holt led the team to investigate. Holt recorded an event on microcassette, now known as the Holt tape, which describes light moving through the trees and a red glowing object. Radiation readings were taken at the site, showing slightly elevated levels in some accounts. Now, there were multiple witness accounts as well, so multiple airmen, including Burroughs, Penniston and Holt, reported seeing unexplained lights or objects. Some described the craft with no propulsion, while others saw beams of light. Testimonies vary, with some later claiming their health issues or memory gaps, possibly linked to this event. Now, there was an official response to this incident, so the UK Ministry of Defence investigated but concluded that the incident posed no threat to national security, and they suggested the lights could have been from a lighthouse, which was Orford Ness, or a meteor, or a natural phenomena overall. Declassified documents like the MOD's 2001 file downplay the event, but confirm investigations did in fact take place, and the US Air Force also found no evidence of a security threat, and no official US report has confirmed a UFO to this day. Now, there are a multitude of theories, hypotheses, explanations that have been floated about, like, for example, a UFO. Some people have said that it was just the lighthouse, and some people have just blamed it on stress or fatigue or disorientation in the dark forest, which has led to these kinds of potential sightings taking place. Now, this, of course, has led to a cultural impact as well. Many people have, it's become quite a hotspot for UFO enthusiasts in the UK as well. It's led to a lot of documentaries, books, TV shows. The Holt tape, the Penniston sketches are all parts of evidence that have been provided with regards to this case as well. But there's no definitive proof of UFOs at all at this point. Until now, potentially, as two UFO whistleblowers, well, that's what we can call them now, from this incident, just gave a major update, as two US Air Force security officers have broken their silence, claiming a hidden UFO landing at Capel Green during the 1980 event. Entities, film footage and suppression. This could potentially change absolutely everything that we know about this incident. Obviously, this came in an interview with Ross Coulthart, so, some people are going to instantly discredit this straight off the bat, but let's hear what they've got to say.
I saw a triangular object that was about 20 feet across. It went up to a rounded kind of top. It had a reddish amber light at the top. It kept distorting and changing. It was snow white. It looks a little different in the movie. There were parts of it that were, it just didn't look aerodynamic. You didn't know what to think, and you weren't in the right kind of normal mindset like we are right now. And this being, thing, or whatever, I've never said alien, came off the surface of this object. It was
What do you
three.
see?
It was like a bubble. It depicted in Dion's film. The best way I can describe it is just a part of the fabric of that craft separated on the ground, 3 feet above the ground, or a foot off the ground. I mean, these things in it faded out, and there were three individual looking. In fact, Bastin's is the one that said, "Why are these kids here?" It just, everything was bizarre, and it was there. And who else was there is, and to describe them, there was the big eyes, but it was like Ghost, okay? It looked like Ghost. It wasn't like Close Encounters, the little aliens come out and shake everyone's hands and off they go. It was very surreal and very surreal. Did it happen?
Okay, I need descriptions. So, are they humanoid creatures?
Oh yeah,
What color are they?
Well, geez, they were like ghosts. Picture Casper the Friendly Ghost, but not friendly. Facial features not really defined. Inside these lights, and you couldn't see the lower extremities very well.
Did they have arms? Did they have
oh
legs?
yeah, there were two arms, and it went down on. They were on the sides of these beings, things, non-humans.
Did they have hair,
Nope,
ears, nose,
no, nothing.
mouth?
It's the classic Communion. You ever see the book by Whitley Strieber, Communion? Of course, everyone's seen that cover. That face, that's what it was. It was one of those alien or non-human, because I don't say alien. They could be from Earth. I don't know.
So they had big black eyes. Was it? What were the
They
eyes
had
look like?
almond-shaped kind of, the classic wraparound kind of eyes. That was the most defining image of the face.
Obviously, very strong testimony there from these people. Okay, now a lot of people have said that it can be brushed off. Maybe they weren't even there. There's been a deep dive in the same interview to kind of, establish where they were at this time. Now, obviously, he's not the only person who has come forward. So the Air Force security police officers Larry Warren and Steve Longero provided obviously these brand new testimonies and claim to have witnessed what happened during the incident in December of 1980. Now, obviously we heard there about a little description of some humanoid creatures who that he refuses to claim is an alien, but describes it as non-human. It's interesting, but some other key claims that have come out from these testimonies is a second UFO landing and non-human entities. So obviously that's what we've just heard about. Military filming and confiscation. So Warren stated that the incident was documented with still film and video cameras present in the area, and British police also took photos. However, he claimed all equipment was immediately confiscated by military officers during suggesting a potential cover-up. There's also connection to nuclear weapons. So Longero recounted patrolling the weapons storage area at RAF Bentwaters and a major NATO nuclear base at the time when the craft appeared, triggering alarms in the facility. This aligns with research by Robert Hastings, who has documented UFO incidents near nuclear installations globally, suggesting a pattern of interest in such sites. And now, Larry Warren's earlier role was also mentioned. So Warren was one of the original whistleblowers, having spoken publicly about the incident since 1980s, and his accounts have been controversial at best, with some inconsistencies noted by other witnesses like John Burroughs. For example, in a 2022 Reddit discussion highlighted skepticism about Warren's claims, noting that he described a closer encounter on a subsequent night, including being deactivated mid-step near a dome of light. Though details remain debated, Longero's testimony is newer and less scrutinized, but adds to Warren's narrative. And then there's also health and psychological impact. So both officers, like the witnesses such as John Burroughs, have claimed adverse physical and psychological effects from their encounters. Burroughs previously received a payout from the US Air Force for injuries he claimed were linked to the incident, though specifics were not disclosed. This lends to some credence that the idea of that something unusual affected these servicemen. Now, of course, these, like many other testimonies, have been heavily scrutinized, heavily micro-analyzed, compared, you know, what have you. But it's highly interesting that after 40 years, 45 years now, these people are coming forwards to kind of talk about what's happened. Now, a lot of people, like I say, will see that they've spoken to Ross Coulthart and instantly, like, you know, discredit it. But, you know, there's an argument to be made here. What do you guys think about this, though? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. While you're down there, jump to get the hell out of that like button and subscribe. And until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace.